Alright guys, let's make a responsive Navbar using ReactJS and Tailwind CSS. And for this video, I have taken example of this Navbar. It's a simple Navbar which is responsive so that you can use it throughout all your devices. Let's go back to our VS Code and create this. Now as you can see, I've already created a React app using Vite and I've imported all the icons required to create that navbar. And what I've done is I have cleared all the app.jsx files which were available previously and created a fresh app component using RAFC. As I am using Tailwind CSS, so Tailwind contains this container class which we can use to create our containers. So I have added that along with some colors which we need. So let me go back to our app.jsx and create a simple nav. Now what I generally do is create a folder and call it components, and within that folder we create another file and name it as navbar.jsx. Now come here and type RAFC, it will create a navbar component. But before creating the navbar, what we can do is come back to our example and see that we have some spacing in our left and right side along with some top and bottom spacing. So to create that, what we can do is call this class name py of, let's say, 5. Now what we can do is under the main div tag we can create a nav tag by simply writing nav and give a class name of container. Now what this will do is provide some spacing in the left and right side of the page, and under that I have to create the desktop version and the mobile version, which we'll think of later. Now in the desktop version we have a right side and a left side. So to create that, let me create a main div tag which will have a class name of flex justify between an item center. Now this desktop version, this div will have two another divs. One div will contain the image. Let me import that. So simply import it from the public folder. So import logo from /logo svg. Now we can simply come here and within the curly braces we can write logo. Now we can come here and start our server just by typing npm run dev and let's go back and localhost 5173. Now as you can see, it will not show anything because we have to import it in the app.jsx file. So let me import the navbar. Now if I save it and see, we can see our W, which means it's working. Now let's go back to our navbar component and create the right side of the desktop version. Now what I generally do is create a data.js file which will export an array of object, let's say navlinks. It's an array of objects, so we have to create that. Let me give it an ID of 1 and title will be home. Now what you can do is simply select this, copy paste 5 times as we have 5 navlinks. So let's come back to here and change this ID along with the type. Now as you can see, I've created an array of objects called navlinks and exported it so that I can use it anywhere in our React app. So let's go back to our, let's save it first and go back to our nav component. Let's create a UL tag and under which we will map our navlinks. So simply within the curly braces we can write navlinks. It will import our navlinks from the data file which we created, then dot map. Now map takes a function, so let's say data and index and then first bracket Now it's showing expression required. So let's say data.title. Now I think I have given a, now as you can see, I have map over the nav links elements, and if we go back to our Chrome page, you can see our home and new and these are showing, but we need this in horizontal. So to do that, you can come here to UL tag and simply write class flex justify between items center. Now by just typing this, if we come back and see our result, we have made it horizontal, but we need to give some spacing between these links so that it looks something like this. So to do that, we can give a gap of around 4 and it will probably do it. Now the texts are slightly more bigger, so let's do that. Text base. Now as you can see, it's almost looking similar. Now one thing is there, when we hover over our nav links, it changes its color to orange. So to do that, we need to do hover text orange 500 and give a duration of 75, I guess. Now if we go back and see, if we hover over our nav links, it changes its colors to orange. Now we have created the desktop version of this navbar. Now only one thing is left, that is we need to hide these nav links when the screen size is below 768 pixels. So to do that, we can just come here and in the UL tag, we can write hidden and it should flex at. Now what this will do, if we come back here and inspect our page, in the medium screen, it will hide the nav links. Now one more thing is we need to give cursor pointer as it's a nav links. So it should be cursor pointer when we hover our mouse over the links. Now we have created the desktop version, but let's quickly make the mobile version of this navbar. So to do that, come back to our VS Code and this is the main nav tag, and we have to keep this intact, but this will hide whenever the screen size is below 768 pixels. So under this, what we can write, we can give a div and simply say image and import that image from our public folder, that is our hamburger icons. So to import that, simply write import hamburger from /icon menu .svg. Now I have imported the hamburger icon, and let me also import the closing button. So hamburger close, and let me change the name. It will be menu close. Alright guys. Now if I come back to this div and just simply type here hamburger and go back to our Chrome, now we can see that there is a hamburger icon. But we need to hide this whenever the screen size is above 768 pixels. So to do that, we have to come here to the div and give a class name that when the screen is empty, make it hidden. By simply doing that, if we come back to our Chrome and see that it will hide whenever the screen size is above 768 pixels. Now what we can do is create this closing tag. So to do that, we have to conditionally render it. So let me show you how you can do that. Come back to our VS Code, select this image icon and Ctrl X. Now we have to create some states. Let's give the name of that state as is toggle menu and set is toggle menu and use useState and initialize it with false. Now we have to create a function to handle this. So let's create a function then, and let's give the function name as const handle menu. Now this is the arrow function, so give the proper syntax. Now what we can do is take this setter function, that is set is toggle menu, and simply write not equal to is toggle. Now what this will do is when we click over that icon, it will simply change the state to the opposite one. Now copy this handle menu and come back here, and conditionally we have to render here. So what we can do is give the curly braces and write if is toggle menu, then show me Windows V, then show me hamburger close, otherwise show me hamburger. Now if we go back, it will not do anything because I have to give a on click here. So let me give on click and call the handle menu. Now if we go back to our Chrome and see, whenever we click it, it changes to cross sign. All set. Now let's create this navbar. So to do that, we can simply within this div map our nav links again. As we have created an array of objects, it's very easy to reuse the components. So to do that, we can simply come here and type navlinks.map, and it will again take a function, so data and index, and let's say li tag, and it will hold our data dot title. One thing is, whenever you map over anything, you have to give a key property so that it doesn't show any error in a console. So let me fix that. Give a key property of index. Same here. So key index, and now what we have to do is we have to conditionally render this UL tag too, because it should not show when the toggle menu is off. So to do that, we have to simply copy this, cut this, and simply type if is toggle menu is open, then show me this, otherwise show me nothing. So if we go back to our Chrome page and if we click here, it will show, otherwise it will not show. So whenever I click it, it will show the mobile menus, and whenever I close it, it will close the tags. Now what we have to do is decorate it like this. So to do that, I need to make this absolute so that I can control its position throughout the pages. So come back to our VS Code and make this mapping under a div, and make this one as absolute, and make our main container, or you can do is make this main div tag as a relative. Now what this will do is we can control that nav link with respect to this div tag. So if you go back, it's doing that, and now if I write and come back, you can see it's dislocated from the original position to this. Now we have to decorate it just like this. So let me do that. What we can do is give a width of around 200 pixel. BG should be white. Let's give a shadow of MD and give a height of screen. Now what this will do is make this a height of screen, which means whatever the screen size is, then that much will be the height of this whole div. Now what we can do is give a padding of 10. Now what this will do is bring back. Now let's do one thing is flex and do a flex call, and then give a gap of 2, item center and give a py of, to bring it to the middle, let me try 52. All right, now let's come back to our link tag and give some class name here. So link, it should be text base, and in mobile there is no hover property, so we just keep it like that. So text base is quite small, so let me give text lg. Item center is not the thing, item start, I guess. Yeah, now let me give some padding of px of, let's 5. Now it will give some padding in left and right side. Let's say a gap, we should increase the gap by 5 between these. Now this flex is not working, so we just have to cut this here and come back to our UL tag and just paste it there. As you can see, I have given the spaces. Now you can see you can also add this classes here so that it will not this will not be visible. So let me do that. Now if I click, it will come, and if I close it, it will not come. Now as you can see, we have completed our responsive navbar, and it's totally responsive to accommodate in all the devices, and you can close it. And here is the desktop version. Now if we go back to our mobile version, it will look something like this. Yeah guys, so thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one. Till then, peace.